Welcome back to the second episode of the Hidden Dagger podcast. I'm
Hold
your
up
host.
3 fingers.
I said 2. I put 2.
Sure. We'll see when we're editing.
All right. I'm your host, Caleb Bakken, with Joseph, no last name, as I remember.
Joseph, no last name.
And
Joshua Oakley.
Joshua Oakley. We're back again. Just the 3 of us. We were supposed to have another guest, but
Glad to be here.
stuff went through. Everyone had a good Christmas?
Things happen. Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Not quite what I was expecting, but I think it's very enjoyable.
It's good.
It was good to see your parents at church.
Yeah.
It's, nice
It's always
to
good to see
visit.
my parents, except when they're mad at me. But yeah, they're pretty cool.
I feel like everyone could say that.
Yeah.
Right.
So as we enter the new year, I was just curious, anybody have any like New Year resolutions, any ambitious goals that they want to accomplish in 2023?
Oh, man. No.
No.
Nothing ambitious.
Oh, that's it. That's
Nothing-
episode 2.
Yeah. None of us have any ambitions. We're all kind of staunch where we are, stagnating in life, not really moving in any direction with any
Speak for
purpose.
yourself.
You got any
I'm speaking for all
small
of us.
goals?
No, I was kidding. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Circle back to me. I do have
All
a
right.
few, but
Joseph,
I
you
need to-
got any?
All right, so yeah, I got some sort of New Year's resolutions. I will say that kind of the first one, it's not really a New Year's resolution. It's more of a 2 years resolution. It's kind of an ongoing one in my life that's been since about the start of COVID, which is, of course, getting absolutely shredded. So, ever since COVID started, I was like, man, I don't want to let this turn me into kind of a I don't want
I was
to.
attempting to adjust the mic, and I get the death stare from Caleb.
I don't want.
Sorry.
It's okay. I don't want to
editing
become
this
like a
whole thing.
layabout. I don't want to turn into a blob. If we're just all this inside stuff. So I was just like, I'm gonna try to get, if not get in shape, at least kind of stay in shape. And so just for the past 2 years, I've been trying to exercise consistently, and this year is when I started actually regulating my diet, which that's the other part of it. That's the more
It's a
important
big part. Well, I'd say it's pretty hand in hand.
Yeah,
if you're
definitely.
dieting but you're not exercising, you're not going to grow muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by dieting, I mean not like starving yourself, just controlling what you eat.
Yeah. That's a good resolution. Just to continue your,
So let me ask specifically: do you want to get like 6-packs abs shredded, or are you trying to get like yoked, like strong?
yeah, because there is a difference.
There's a big difference,
Yeah,
and they serve very
so-
different purposes.
Yeah, so I mean,
One, you look good without a shirt on, but you might not be able to lift more than 200 pounds. The other
Yeah.
one, you are strong as an ox, but you might, have a little
yeah, that is true.
pudge.
So,
I don't know.
and sorry. So, I'm gonna say I think right now I am just trying to kind of get rid of my gut, which this delicious. What did you say this was?
I think that's doers.
Yeah, this delicious Duars is not.
not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
Yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Is not it's not helping, but I am trying to kind of get rid of the gut at first, but then once I've kind of gotten my fat down to where like it's not slowing me down so much, then I think I'm gonna really focus on kind of amping up my strength, trying to get to where I can maximize my Saiyan power.
That's good. That's good. One thing I will say though, I'm not saying that there's no way you can get your 6-pack. If you put in the work, but it also has to do with genetics a lot too, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
how easy one can get to that too.
That's true. It's true. But I think if you set a goal and work toward it,
Yeah.
most of the time you can achieve something roughly that. And I think you're right. As far as genetics go, they have to do with like muscle insertions.
Yeah.
So like your proportions, how it's going to look.
Yeah.
If you have a naturally big chest or like bold shoulders or
Or even stuff
meaty
like
thighs.
big wrist and stuff.
Yeah.
That shows how big you can get
Yeah,
compared to. I
So-
remember hearing a video of John Cena. He was talking about as a kid, he was super skinny, but he had big hands and big wrists, and
Oh,
that's how
dude.
he knew that if he put in the work, he could get yoked. And look at him now.
all the famous guys are like on steroids though. You
That
know
is true.
right?
That's true.
But so yeah, I've kind of had that kind of genetics struggle because like apparently my genetics actually let me put on muscle very quickly. Like when I was swimming, I put on this ridiculous amount of muscle to the point where like it was surprising
Did that help you with the ladies?
It actually did. I
Evidently
think I
not.
might actually
He's
have been
Wow.
a little more popular in
Yeah.
high school because like height wasn't as big a thing back then. But like kind of the problem with my genetics is that it also makes it easy for me to gain fat. Like I'll have like a pack of crackers and I'll just feel full, you know. So you gotta like
As an alternate name for this podcast was
pack of crackers.
Yeah.
That should have been the name for this podcast.
Well, I'll say my resolutions.
Yeah.
As like yours, last month I've not been in the gym as much as I want. One, because I've been traveling. World Cup was behind that, and I spent a lot of time watching football. Congrats to Argentina, by the way.
Yeah.
But also, so I want to get back because I have a membership that I'm spending money on. So it's a waste to have it going and not, be taking advantage of it. So one of my main goals is to go to the gym at least an hour a day, and try to gain some muscle.
How many days a week?
6 days.
Wow.
Sunday would be my
So-
off day.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt, but have you found that's better for you?
Yeah.
Some people benefit more from doing like 3 days on, 4 days off, or not really how many days per se, but how much time is it invested in each of those days?
Well, back in 2020, I worked out like 6 days a week for about a month, and I gained 15 pounds of muscle.
Oh wow! So you know it works for you.
So I know it works for me. I know I have the genetics where, like, I'm not saying I got yoked in that, but I looked pretty good. Like, it was noticeable. People were
Making
like,
progress.
people noticed that I've been working out.
That's good too.
great to
That's
hear.
even better when other people notice.
Yeah,
I'm
when
like,
someone
Yes.
says like, "Hey man, wow, I was looking a little big," so I'm working out.
"Put on
Like,
that creatine."
it's like all that hard work finally pays off. I don't
Yeah.
use creatine, but
No, that's the thing. I think technically, if you use creatine, you're still natty.
He's
yeah, obviously, yeah. I just don't. I haven't taken the time. I also it's kinda funny.
I think you're kinda young
besmirch
for it
Your
anyway.
body with such substances.
Yeah. So since
I've become a
Christmas,
high functioning caffeine addict.
one of my Christmas gifts was protein powder.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. Whey protein? Whey isolate?
Pretty close. It's like
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Yeah,
not
it
be
was
soy
good.
protein.
I
That's
was
a
like,
good Christmas
I also
gift.
got. I know how you got me cologne.
Oh yeah.
I got my
Yes.
uncle got me cologne as well. I'm like,
Really?
man,
Nice.
I got cologne for Christmas, and protein powder. Are people trying to tell me something?
Yes, you're weak and you smell bad.
Oh, boy.
I'm weak and I smell bad. Yeah.
Brilliant.
No.
What's tell us about it. What kind of protein is it?
It's pretty whey protein powder,
Okay.
pretty much. It's a bit, good sized jug, yeah. So, and I was planning. I had run out of my other stuff, so I could start the year fresh with that. And my other resolution, my other big goal I want to accomplish is, by the end of next year, around the fall, I want to hopefully apply, maybe if I can, for a welding job. That's the goal.
Nice.
It's a big
Good.
goal. It's a big job. It's a big. Even if I'm not done with welding school, I want to see if I can learn enough. Because I learned that I can go to the campus and practice.
That's cool.
Even if you're not.
Even
there
if
for
not,
class.
not in class. So
Wow.
outside of class. So I can go in there and just practice as much as I want, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So that's the
That is
goal.
awesome.
Also, a big thing that I'm going, I am from January 25th to February 7th, I will be in Puerto Rico.
Cool.
Wow.
I got
Is it a mission trip or is
Not
Is
it
as
that
a-
voluntarily or?
so here's the thing.
getting
So
deported?
yeah.
Well.
No. So
Getting
my
demonetized.
so my cousin, a family from their church, bought a house down there.
Okay.
Yo.
And last year, my cousin went with the crew from their church, and they spent like a week working on it. Basically not building it, but like doing a bunch of stuff that needed done. And
awesome.
he had a great time. Oh man, I'll have to forward you a video that one of his friends took
Mhm.
from a drone. So I want to.
Wow.
After seeing that, you'll want to live there. But
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
You know what I've heard great things about?
Anyway,
Costa Rica.
so when my cousin went there,
Utopia.
he told me about it. It sounded great. And then a couple months back, we were texting. He said, "Hey, would you ever want to go to Puerto Rico if I go back? Because I want to go back." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So when I went to Tennessee last week, like second day there, he's like, "Hey, you want to go to Puerto Rico with me? It looks like I might be going at end of January." And by the end of the trip, we had bought tickets and
That's awesome.
Wow.
$160 round trip.
That's it,
That's it.
dude.
It's great.
I might come with you.
Wait.
That's-
Like flight.
Just flight.
Wow.
So we have to like rent a car.
That's
that might be a little bit additional.
Great though for international. Puerto Rico is.
I mean, we're
Although
flying Spirit
It is,
Airlines,
it is
so
a U.S. territory, so it's probably
yeah. That's
not quite as much as
that's-
international.
that's
So
the
it's
thing, right?
domestic.
like if you're ever looking for a place, it
tropical
reminds me a little
paradise.
bit of Africa in the sense that it's tropical,
Jungular.
a bit like that. Obviously, there's a beach. No beach in the part of Africa where I was, but
What was that?
East Africa.
No, you watch.
Oh, watch.
Your watch.
Oh, and
A reminder to-
It's
Time to take
eight
this
o-
pill.
8:00. Yeah,
It's time to take
Gotta
your
get the
dementia
drugs.
pills. It's time to take your dementia pills.
but also it's a
time
province,
to take your dementia pills.
so you don't have to worry.
That's good.
You don't have to worry about a visa.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about any of that. Yeah, it's basically like another state.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do there? You just gonna hang out with your friend?
So the house
Show
that
you
we're
around?
staying at, we're not staying maybe in the house, but like we might bring hammocks and camp in a tent, whatever. We'll probably do some work on their house, sort of like pay our rent, kinda. But then it's just lots of hiking, exploring, surfing, swimming.
That sounds
There,
awesome.
there will probably be monkeys.
There may be.
Really?
Can-
I don't think there are monkeys in.
Can you
There
bring?
could be.
Can you bring me monkey?
Joseph
Um,
wants
One thing though
a
about
souvenir.
I think that's like
one thing about
illegal.
Spirit Airlines though
Illegal.
is the
Yeah.
ticket is really good, but you have one personal item. If you wanted something
Mm.
else, it's like $60 for another thing.
Do you have a check bag?
Check bag you have to pay, so I'm not taking a
Really?
check bag.
Okay, well you're only gonna be there for what? A week?
12 days,
12 days? Almost 2 weeks.
so I can
You could get away with like
a backpack.
yeah.
Wait,
I might buy.
actually, wait. If they have a, do they have like a washing machine?
They don't. You can wash by hand.
Okay, well, yeah. Then there you go.
So yeah, if I
Got
have
it.
to.
Caleb, you go on the most fun adventures, and I say that not out of envy, but it's amazing to see some of the things you do. I mean, you
I'm
grew up
a
in
little
Africa.
envious.
Yeah. Hey, maybe one day we'll go. We can rent their.
Yeah. Revisit Karamojo.
We
Hey,
totally
that's
should. That'd
that's a
be
long
cool.
time. That's like I don't know about 2023, but that's like in the next 5-year goal. How about
It's a
that?
long-term
neat,
goal,
yeah.
but it's a
Long-term
short,
goal.
long-term goal.
I would love to, especially with having a real live native with us, even though
Yeah.
you may not look it.
And I was supposed.
Yeah.
I was
Then you
supposed
went
to go to
after.
Alaska. There was talks of me going to Alaska next year in August
I've been
with,
to Alaska.
with some friends, but right as we're looking at prices, everything all the prices jacked up to like
Yeah.
1,200 over. At first, it was like round trip $500, which is okay for Alaska, but then it was gonna be like 1,200 and stuff, and
Ooh,
I'm not spending that
Yikes.
much. Also, and the best thing, I'd prefer the warm weather, so I'm
Yeah.
okay with Puerto Rico.
that
Also,
makes sense.
it's gonna be end of January, so everyone's here's gonna be like in 30-degree weather, and I'll be
It's
75
gonna
on
be
the
all
beach.
tropical
Oh,
paradise over there.
I'll send y'all pictures. of,
Yeah.
like,
Well, here's the thing.
y'all are like waking up early to go to work, and you get a picture from me. I'm like, going surfing,
Yeah, I might just
catching the waves.
Yeah,
Might
I
get
don't know what I would do
so-
They'd
there.
be like, Joseph and Joshua blocked you. Like, okay.
Scene 7:30 a.m.
North Carolina's nice because it's got 4 seasons, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get your fall, spring, winter, and summer.
You get your cold, you get your warm.
Exactly, but it's a lot
Um,
more of the warm than the cold. The cold really isn't even a serious cold compared to a lot of other states.
I don't know.
That's
I
true.
feel like fall is kind of part of summer a lot of the time.
You get some hot days in October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had some really warm weather in fall, and I'm just like, man, I wish we had 4 seasons in North Carolina.
Speaking of winter,
It's brief.
yeah.
but
Speaking of winter, though, I mean, this week is in the 60s, or is it
Yeah.
next?
No,
dude,
you're
no,
right. This
next week. Beginning of
I
next
hope
week
we
too.
get a big
It's
old
it's Friday,
snow.
so. But yeah, we get a bunch of we got snow in Tennessee when I was there. I was telling Joseph, we got there
I'm
on
very
Thursday.
jealous.
Friday morning, it was -2 degrees.
Oh,
It was
I haven't
brutal.
told you guys about snowshoe, have I?
it's the type of cold where you walk
Wait, you
out
went
and it like
skiing?
hits your
Yeah.
face.
Just
Oh,
you?
well.
Was it just by you?
Yeah,
It
how was that?
Where'd you
Well,
go?
It wasn't all this cracked up to be. I went to Snowshoe, West Virginia, and I
Just a
had
day trip?
car accident. I say accident.
I'm sorry.
I was being an idiot trying to drift around in the snow in a rear-wheel drive sports car,
Bruh.
and I ended up in the ditch.
Whoa.
Well, I really ended
You
up
didn't
in
tow
2
your car
ditches.
though,
I
because
hit
you
one
drove it
ditch
here, right?
And kind of like bounced out, slid across into another ditch.
I shouldn't
no.
drive with you.
But thank God somebody came along and pulled me out. They had a chain. I actually had to go home and get it. They lived nearby and come back and pull me out.
What?
Wow.
And then
Was
the
it
next-
after skiing or before skiing?
This was before I even got there. Thank God I was only 6 miles away from the lodge that I was supposed to be staying at.
Oh, you spent the night? You took a day off?
I spent Monday night and Tuesday night, and I came back Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so from there on, it was just a series of providential blessings, one after the other. It kept seeming like I was stuck in a situation where I just had no real help or any way out because there's no signal up there. I'm in the mountains.
Yeah.
So first, I couldn't change my tires to my spare because they had come off the bead, both the front ones, and because I didn't have a lug wrench in my tire kit, in my spare kit.
You didn't plan this trip out well, did you?
Well,
Yeah.
you're right. There was a high level of unpreparedness involved on my part, which I am 100% responsible for, which has helped me change my perspective a little bit on how I go about things. But yeah, so I had to borrow a wrench from the people who were taking care of the lodge I was staying at, and then it didn't fit my lug nuts, so I couldn't get them off to change my spare tire, and so I had to drive like 16 miles on 2 flat tires into town to see if I could find a tire place or an auto repair shop, and then one of them came off the rim completely on the way down this mountain, and I was stranded on the side of the road.
Bro.
But again, providentially, somebody came, it stopped, and it had pity on me and picked me up and drove me into town. And we found a guy there, an auto mechanic who actually owned a shop, first of all,
Wow.
and had a tow truck.
So he came back out and pulled you.
I told him my situation. He said he'd help me out. And so we went out, picked up the car.
What town is this?
This was, I don't know, but I will say it was about 12 minutes.
In West Virginia,
from,
right?
I'm sorry, about 12 miles from Snowshoe.
Probably it was called
Ski
like
resort.
it was probably called like Raccoon or something.
It was something. It was like Elk Creek or something like that.
Oh,
that's cool.
That's a great name for a town.
What
oh my
a
gosh.
trip.
Yeah. So he puts on. He actually just happens to. He doesn't do tires, but he happened to have 2 tires that fit my car, and so he put them on there.
Did you buy them?
No, he gave them to me.
Also,
I paid him for the
elk.
labor, but yeah. And so I was able to make it. So I did all of that in the span of like a morning. I didn't do all of that. All of that happened.
Nice.
And
Was that
and I
before
was still
skiing
able to
or-
make it skiing? Yeah,
Wow.
in the same day. So God really sent some people to help me out.
Yeah.
Took care of me. Plus, he helped. I mean, he used that situation to draw me nearer to himself. I'll say, put the fear of the Lord in me, thinking that accident
Yeah.
could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
I was glad to be alive, and it definitely humbled me. So.
Yeah, dude. Because what
You
was
didn't have to do that.
How much? I mean, what was the temperature at that point? Was it like?
It was below zero most of the
Oh,
time I was
boy.
there. Or not? All right, sorry. I say below 0 Celsius. It was below freezing,
Below
Yeah.
freezing?
but it was cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I'd say when in Tennessee, so my uncle and my cousin-in-law, I guess they like volunteer on a fire department, so they'll
Yeah.
get calls and stuff
Mhm.
within like a certain radius or whatever. And then was it Friday night? Last week this night when they dropped 0 and it snowed, they were getting calls. A lot of calls were coming in. You had cars, off the road. 40, because they literally live like 8 miles from 40.
Okay.
So literally for us to get there, we get on 40 and we stay on 40 for like 600 miles and then we just get off.
Let's go.
It's pretty great. It's like, how do you get there? Just get on 40 and then 600 miles, just take their exit and 8 miles. Anyway, but like 40 was ice apparently. So there was, and like a couple of,
Did they not salt the roads, or was
they
it just
did. But like
I don't know.
right off the bat, I mean, it's in the middle of the night. So the next day they get in there. Oh, the dirt roads they don't salt, obviously.
Right.
Obviously, I'm glad they salt the roads, but the amount of
Yeah.
damage it does to your car in the future.
Oh yeah, you're
Like
right.
if you're ever gonna buy a
It's,
used
like,
car,
corrosive.
always check if it's up from up north, and check underneath the car for the rust, because the salt over the course of time,
Yeah.
it'll rust your car out.
It will.
But yeah, man, we had a fun week. Except for Joseph, he didn't do
It
anything.
was exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
And I'll
it's
tell you
almost
about it.
better
I'll
to
tell you
not
about
have
it.
an exciting
It's like
week.
it shows like me and Joshua like having all these like
I'll tell
adventure
you.
stuff, and there's Joseph
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
reading
this
a
is-
book, sipping tea.
I was
This
most
is
glad
literally
for it
well,
during that
it ain't
entire
tea,
trip.
but it should be tea.
Yeah. I was gonna say one of the things I was most glad for that entire trip were it was the first night I was there. I had like crawled to the lodge. I didn't know what I was gonna do. No cell service. I was on the top of a mountain. But some of the things I was most grateful for were to have a hot shower, to be able to like have drinking water. I had nothing up there with me. I had no food with me except like a
Ooh.
few crackers, and then
and you
Got
ate
a
at
few
the
crackers here.
and then the word. I had the word with me. I brought my Bible with me,
Based.
and it was great to in that time of kind of solitude and uncertainty. I don't know. I think the Lord definitely used that time to draw me unto Himself, and I'm very grateful for that because He didn't have to do that. It's all in His mercy.
Yeah.
Even things like humility and fear of the Lord are gifts. And even during that time, He used the circumstances to show me the total, undeserved, unconditional love that we have from Him.
You ate at the lodge, I assume?
There was no food there. No.
Oh.
I
No
survived
food at
on
all?
Crackers, yeah.
Was the lodge like closed? I mean, was the food part of the lodge closed, or did they just not have food at all?
The lodge was a fishing lodge.
Oh, okay.
And I was there in an
Gotta catch your
Airbnb
food.
owned by the same people. So, and the Airbnb was minimal. It was a table, a couch, and 2 beds, and that was
Wow.
it. There was a microwave, but I didn't have anything.
Just a
So-
microwave, no fridge.
How long did you go without food?
Well, not for very long, just most of Tuesday.
I'd probably have a 6-pack by the end of that.
And Monday. But yeah, I mean, just thinking about those small things that I was glad for. Even the heart condition that the Lord brought me through.
And the weight loss.
Yeah.
Wait, you have a
definitely.
heart condition?
No. I mean the condition.
Oh,
of
the
my
the
heart,
condition
my
of your
attitude.
heart. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It just made me think there's so much to be thankful for
Okay.
from the Lord who provides for us. I mean, thinking about He provided even His own Son. God shows His love for us that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us, right?
You know, hearing the story and all, I kind of feel bad, like looking at my phone, like, why isn't Joshua responded? Now that I hear all you went
so
through.
sorry.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
no, you have nothing to be sorry about. Now
I
that I
wasn't
know what you went
that
through.
upset, but I kind of figured you probably had something going on. Cause
Well,
like
I wasn't
know-
upset. I like when 2 days go by and you haven't seen a text. I'm like, I hope everything's okay, you know.
Yeah.
But
Bro.
now I know.
Well, I appreciate the concern. It was
Though I think, sorry to interrupt you, but I think there's times when
This is just these guys talking.
like in today's world, there's so many times where it's like, oh man, I don't have any cell service. How am I gonna live? But I feel
Right.
like we need to take
Ooh,
advantage
yeah,
of
you're
those
right.
times. Because there's, as you said, there's so much you can do, and I feel like you can be at so much peace if your phone's not
Man.
on.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I was barely at peace, but really, I mean, the promises of the Lord draw so much nearer when it seems like His blessings have been rescinded from us.
I've been
Yeah.
at points in my life where it was just that was like all there was sometimes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm a little bit scared of a time where that might be literally all there is, and
Yeah.
maybe that's why I need to get there at some point. But
Right.
you know,
and
it's
I don't think that's anything to be afraid of. I mean, there's going to be all of our lives, our circumstances are entirely out of our control.
yeah,
As a matter of fact, everything is out of our control.
yep.
We know that all things exist by and through the Lord. and
Laryngitis over here.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
It's the winter air.
But really, I mean, our existence is by Him and for Him.
Based.
And so I know the Lord especially uses times like those times of calamity, those times of hardship, trouble, and suffering to grow us and draw us nearer to Himself and make us more Christ-like.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, you think about the Lord Himself, He was a man of many sorrows, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You think about in the garden where his
Very
sweat
human
were like drops
sorrows.
of blood. Yes, very human.
Yeah.
And He was tempted in every way we are without
Oh
sin as
man,
well.
dude, I keep forgetting that. Like sometimes I'll be like, you know, praying, and I'll just be like, I'll feel so, you know, disconnected. I'm just like, man, He doesn't know what I'm feeling, but I'll bet He actually does. He definitely does.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Isn't that amazing?
Christ is God and He's man.
Yeah, man.
What a way
it
to-
is an amazing thought.
What a way to end the year. I feel
Yeah.
like these last
Yeah.
couple of weeks have been eventful for everybody.
Providential.
Yeah. Here's to a good 2023.
All right,
Isn't that crazy? It's on Sunday.
that is insane.
What a
Yeah.
year.
Well, Christmas is on Sunday. New Year's is on Sunday. It's a week
Yeah.
apart. I'm looking forward to it.
Can
What a good way to usher in the new year.
Yeah, that's right. Can I tell you what I did for Christmas?
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah, sorry.
'Cause, like-
I didn't mean to ramble on. Y'all
No,
gotta stop me when I do
it's
that.
not. It's not
You
that.
had
it's
an
that,
eventful
it's
Christmas.
It's that like I'm the like autistic monologuer. You guys are the friends having a
Oh,
genuine
no.
conversation.
Don't worry, Joseph.
But
You may not be able to see it, but we're as good friends with you as we are with each other.
no,
and vice
that's
versa.
not that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the conversation
Yeah, yeah.
style. Like
Well, I honestly, I just went on a big
yeah, it's
ramble.
okay. It's
Well,
fine.
you had
It's
a
okay.
long.
yeah.
You had 2 days of starving, stuck on the side of a road.
Yeah. Real
You make it
adventure.
sound-
An adventure in the Himalaya.
I was just too comfortable, honestly, with the things I had. You remember what I said at the beginning?
Gotta get out of
Pride
your
comes
comfort
before
zone,
the
bro.
fall, and a haughty attitude before destruction. I needed to be humbled. I
Yeah.
needed that badly.
Not
And
looking
praise
forward to
God
the next
for it.
time I get humbled. Whew.
I mean, who goes around drifting in ice in a rear-wheel drive car?
Yeah, that's what I wanna
full
know.
of themselves. Me, I did, and at the end of it, I was like, man, I'm just glad to be walking away with my life. Honestly, the fear of the Lord is a good thing. I say that and I mean it. It's the beginning of wisdom. It's a good place to be in.
All right.
The fear of the Lord.
So
I'm sorry, Joseph.
It's okay. It's okay. I've been like keeping in my head, and like this is something that does not come naturally to an autistic person like myself. But like I've been keeping track of all the different tangents that I could have taken advantage of as this conversation proceeded.
Well, let's follow a few. Go for it.
So the first tangent is I don't want to spend a long time on this at all, but you mentioned people noticing when you've been exercising. That's incredibly gratifying. I remember like back at like the beginning of this year when I had really started exercising, and one of my coworkers noticed that I was starting to get a little bit more yoked, and it was very nice to see that. The other thing is let's see, who was going to Alaska? Which one was it?
I was going to Alaska.
Yeah, I've been to Alaska. It was a while
Which part?
ago, so I don't remember. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we were mostly in the Anchorage area. It was a mission trip.
How old were you?
I was in college. I was like, I don't know.
This was at least 20 years ago. No, sorry.
Close to 10 years ago.
That's his asthma kicking in.
Well,
You have
I did have asthma when I was younger,
Oh.
and maybe it sometimes comes back, but
Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you're good.
But I don't have like standard normal lasting asthma. But,
That's good.
You know, I'll sometimes get a little asthmatic.
It's kind of, Alaska's so big,
It's
but
huge.
people only go to like it's like the most southern part is. That's only where people
it's
ever
like
go.
Anchorage, Nome, and
Is there?
Yo,
Juneau. Yeah.
So apparently a couple years ago, which I did not realize this. No, not years ago. Maybe it was months ago. I was like doing a little bit of, Googling and Wikipedia-ing about what it was like in Alaska, because I'm just like, man, there's like people there. It's more than just snow. When I was there, I only saw like a couple people and lots of snow. But like apparently Alaska does have seasons. It's not like the Arctic. It does have like a short spring and summer. And during the Alaskan summer, some of the highest temperatures in the entire United States were recorded. There have been temperatures in the 90s in Alaska in the summer, not just in like southern Alaska, but in like central Alaska. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Jamie, pull that up. I'm just kidding.
It would be nice if we had a guy.
I'm trying to figure out.
It'd be nice if we
who
had a guy
Jamie
to pull
is.
things up.
You've never seen the Joe Rogan Experience?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even know if we should name drop that
Yeah.
on here because it might get us demonetized. But at this point, who
Jamie,
really cares? He's like their tech guy who looks
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
He's like he's kind of in the corner on a computer, and
we just
if
have our phones.
they talk about such a myriad of subjects. If there's
Yeah.
something that they need
On the
external
TV.
information
You
on,
think we do
they'll look it up and
tangents.
then put it up on a screen.
Yeah. Well,
Honestly, I think it's good that we keep our conversations kind of streamlined
Yes, okay.
for the most part.
Well, like I'll
Yeah.
try to. I'll
What-
try.
yeah.
Well, what were you saying? Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying the reason these podcasts are the last podcast and this one is because we haven't had a guest yet. Once we have a guest, it's gonna be very centralized on them,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I think we have the one
be much
camera
more
like on them. Definitely. So yeah.
But yeah, so like when I was in Alaska, all it was like a mission trip. We went to Anchorage.
To the seals.
What? To the sea. Yes,
The
to the
pol-
seals.
the
and they
polar
went-
bears.
Yeah, it was a mission trip with, I think it was with FCA when I was in college. We went up, we volunteered at this church. We did a bunch of different random things, but we happened to be at.
They built igloos for the poor.
The Inuit.
There are buildings in Alaska,
I know.
you bigots.
you help feed the sled dogs.
Well, that's the thing.
No, a lot.
The Iditarod was on when we
Really?
were there.
serious?
Somewhere back in the crap that I have,
That's
I have an Iditarod poster that I'm gonna hang up somewhere.
Oh my goodness. We need that. Yeah.
Yes, I went to the Iditarod. I saw the dogs. We saw the sleds. It was
Oh, my
amazing. So
goodness gracious.
we took a little bit of time to go and see the Iditarod. It was awesome.
That is amazing. I'm so glad you
Yeah.
got to do that.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very very cool. Very manly.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
I have a friend whose boyfriend is stationed up there.
Really?
And I saw some
like
of
a
the,
military base. You
a
mean?
military base. Yeah, he's in the
Okay.
military, and I saw some of the pics that he had. Oh, Alaska's so beautiful.
It
And
is
one of the
beautiful.
things we were gonna go to, one of the reasons why the trip that we had planned, it still might happen, but in August, because apparently 18 hours of daylight then. So like you have so much time to do stuff. The
Mhm.
Northern Lights at nighttime. I mean,
you still gotta sleep.
Oh yeah, you have
You
like
gotta I know, but
I would still
I know what you
sleep.
mean.
Like
yeah.
we were very careful to kind of regulate our sleeping times by the clock, not by the daylight.
You don't do that already?
Well, yeah, but sometimes sometimes.
Well, like,
yeah,
when you
you're
get-
right.
yeah.
Never mind.
But like in a more like, you know, when it gets late,
Yeah.
it's dark.
Yeah.
Except for the winter, it gets dark at like 5.
I was gonna say it's 8:20 now. It's been dark for
Well,
like
yeah,
3
I mean,
hours.
what I was-
3.5 hours.
Well, I mean, the point that I was making was, yeah, we always regulate our time by the clock. But I mean, as in like, you know, we would go to bed maybe just to make sure we got enough sleep. We would go to bed maybe when it wasn't exactly when we thought we were.
Yeah.
See, we were there in March. I don't remember if that was March is the time of the very. Is that the time of the short days?
I think it's
or the long
short
long
days. Yeah, very short days. Because as you get into the summer, it's the
days
longer
were pretty
days.
short.
So it's mainly nighttime. That's worse. I would rather go when it's like super light.
Yeah. I just know that here, during a certain time of the year, might be around the summer solstice, there's like a sweet spot where
Yeah.
you like everything you do during the day, when you're awake, obviously, is during the daylight, right?
Yeah.
And this is obviously during daylight savings as well. But then it's like when it's time to go to bed, it's actually
It's dark, yeah.
getting dark, right? So I don't know. I think that was something I took note of a lot growing up.
I prefer late days though.
Yeah.
Like it's nice when it's like 8 o'clock and it's like just getting the sunset then.
Yeah.
I just like days that are
Perfect.
weekends.
I mean, days without work.
Well,
Lazy. No.
no,
Yeah,
that's the
so
thing.
you like being lazy?
Usually on weekends, that's when I do all the work that I can't do during the work
That's why you
days
live
because
here.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of work. I mean, especially since you have your own place that goes into that. And
I mean, I rent, so I don't know if it's really my place.
well,
It's your place.
Yeah, I mean, you've made it.
You
yours.
buy the
All your
rights to
stuff is
this.
here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find.
Are you saying that
find
since
a roommate
you
soon?
don't own the title, that technically I can just take whatever I want and it's mine? Because if so, I have been eyeing that Star Wars.
Not an
collection.
ANCAP. Wait, what do you want?
What?
The Star Wars.
It's
Wait,
the
you
Star
said you're
Wars
looking for a
You
roommate?
want my Star Wars books? Well, no. I
Yeah,
think.
I think if I went for that, I might
So,
lose a finger. Or two.
I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know if anything's going to go through yet. But I've been thinking about at some point moving and maybe getting a roommate. And I've been talking to someone, but I have no idea what the situation is going to turn out to be.
Don't
Okay.
do it. That's my advice.
No, why?
What-
What if he
what do you
saves
mean,
money?
why? I don't know. Man.
Yeah,
It
that's
just,
the thing. It's really a money saving thing.
Well, just move back in with your parents.
That's the thing.
Or do they not want you?
They kind of seem to think that it's like wrong for someone of my age
Oh,
to
yeah.
spend too much time living with their parents, which is a
I can
shame
see
because
that.
you guys y'all's parents don't do that.
But we're not
parents
28.
yeah, age docs. I'm an old man.
No. Well, you're actually 25.
But
Josh
the thing
is
is
getting
like
up
the
there.
thing is like
What are you
they,
doing
Yeah, I
now?
know.
they wanted me
I
out.
can feel it.
They wanted me out when I was like 19
Yeah.
or
I
20.
understand.
You know.
I think that's a cultural thing.
Yeah, my parents are like very much kind of, we're gonna like make you do kind of what they think of as normal, and it's kind
That's
of
good.
and yeah, sometimes that is good, but like it's weird because like my parents are probably way more trad than y'all's parents in some ways, but in other ways they're way less trad than y'all's parents. It's so weird. It's a very strange dynamic.
Yeah.
I do think, like, I don't think
Trad means
there's nothing
traditional
wrong
for
with
the
living with your
layman.
parents as long as you either, pay rent or help around with the house, right? You
Yeah,
don't do-
They were gonna start charging me a rent, but I moved out. Thank God.
Yeah. But I do think, though, as the later you get, like, if you're, like, 30 and you're still living at home with no plans, at that point, it's like, you figure it out, like,
Yeah.
Well, I
you
got a
don't, you
couple-
don't
I
want to
think the
mulch
cutoff
off
point
I
should be
hope they
well
work
before
out.
then.
well before. Is 25 well before?
Boo.
All right, got me there.
Yeah,
Well,
before.
Yes.
26.
but I mean, you have like a
say-
stable.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
like a fairly stable.
You could-
job.
you
You're
could
doing
move
pretty
out
good.
easily.
I have moved out. I was out for like 5 years, and then I came
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah. Well,
Any plans to move back out?
Not until I get married, hopefully.
interesting.
We've kind of danced around that subject. I don't. Okay, that's the wrong term. danced around, I think, means to avoid it.
'Cause, like-
but we have discussed it in brief, my parents
interesting.
and I, and they seem to be mostly warm to the idea so far.
Jeez,
And
I wish my parents were like that. I could save so much money.
That
You
would be
listening,
ideal
Dad?
to me. That would be ideal to me. But if I needed to move out, or if they needed me to move out for some reason, like say, I don't know, maybe say they started to rent out the spare
Yeah.
room in our house for whatever reason. I mean, of course,
Because
I
your
would-
sister
I would
might be
move
moving
right
out
away.
soon.
What?
Your sister will probably move out soon. When
Yeah.
assuming she marries the guy that she's dating.
Yeah. Well, not even that. I think she wants to as well.
Oh.
Have a place.
She's
on her
only
own.
19 though, right?
Yeah.
She's young.
That's as old as you are, buddy.
I'm 20.
Well,
But
almost the
still,
same.
getting
I
married
just
at
turned
like
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
at like 19.
Speaking of
Well,
marriage,
she won't be
Oh, I'll
she won't
probably
be
get-
20 until
I'll probably
May.
get married at like 35.
That's another
Yeah.
6 months.
oh, she's
I'm
engaged.
so old.
No.
For my kids.
What? No, I said she'll turn 20 in May.
Oh, I thought she
Kids
said
gonna
she's
think
getting
I'm an old
married.
geezer.
Wow. No.
But speaking of marriage, this is the first trip. So I'm pretty close with my cousins.
Yeah.
We see each other like twice a year.
That's cool.
We have like a week long of just time, just nonstop, hours together. But this trip was the first time we're getting to the age where things are starting to change. And what I mean by that, all right, my oldest cousin is already married and out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, we see her a lot, but it's not the same, right? And my second cousin is courting someone now.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And with their kind of courtship, the church, like their church they're part of, courtships are quick. So courtships
Ooh.
like 4 or 5 months.
Whoa.
45 months?
4 or
Bruh,
That's
5.
not-
4
Bruh,
or
that's-
5
that's-
months.
That's like
Sorry.
positively reckless.
And then
Reckless.
engagement of around 4 months. So I wouldn't be.
It's either based.
She
or
could be
reckless.
getting married in less than a year, like 8 months. She'll
That
be
seems
married
long
probably.
for a courtship. Including the engagement period?
8 months.
I thought you said another 4 to 5 months for the engagement.
It's like 3, depends. But yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because if they've been courting for that long,
They just courted. They just started courting 2 weeks ago.
right? I think a reasonable engagement would be 6 months.
Yeah. Well, their
Just
engagement's
courting
4
or not.
months.
That's what. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get it. Because they have been courting for so long, it makes sense.
They're
'Cause
both
courting
20.
is like a lot more of a commitment than dating.
They're so young though.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're both 20.
They're not too young to start a family. As
No.
a matter of fact, I'd say they're a perfect age.
Yeah.
Or a great
And they were
age.
talking
Wish that I'd
about
done so when I was
the guy. His name is.
maybe not 20. But
I won't
like
say their
20
names.
25, 23.
You courted somebody?
No, I'm saying I wish that I had
Yeah.
maybe kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
started the process. I'm
Well, it's not good
a
to-
little bit earlier.
To look back like that.
One
Yeah,
thing.
sorry.
One thing I know
That's all I
that
can do, bro.
I just mean that it's what's more important is that you could be focusing.
Look
on
to the
what you
future.
could be
Don't look
doing
in the
now.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both 20.
Just trying to
The
pay rent,
guy
bro.
he works in construction, saved up a lot of money. He's planning on I think they were talking about, he's planning on a home or sort of like an apartment like thing where he has an apartment over a shop like thing so he can work on his stuff
Oh,
and have
that's
an
really
apartment.
It's actually
And then
cool.
eventually he can
Yeah.
rent that out
What
when he
stuff
builds
does he
a
work
house.
on?
Construction. He works for Ryan
Okay,
Pros.
okay,
Go check
cool.
him out.
That's a
They
very.
build houses and
very-
decks.
Yeah,
stuff.
that is
They
pretty
do
cool.
really
Smart
good
idea.
work.
Mhm.
I think it'd be cool. So currently I work for. I'm a dog of the state. I work for the state. But do you know what I think would be cool? So I used to work in landscaping, and
I remember that.
yeah. The problem
I
with
remember
it,
him saying that, right?
it wasn't really.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It wasn't really that I didn't like the work per se. It was really just that a lot of my coworkers were just absolute degenerates, just weird drug addicts and stuff. But I had one best friend there who was a Christian. He's unfortunately passed away, and nobody knows how. R.I.P. But
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's okay, it's okay. But it was a little rough when it happened. I was in the middle of exams at grad school, found out he was dead, and I was just like, okay, how did he die? And everybody was like, nobody knows. They just found him dead. My little theory is that back in the day, before he became a Christian, he was super hardcore into drugs and whatnot, and I think that possibly there might have been some kind of
relapse.
That's the thing, because like if there had been drugs in his system, they would have been able to detect
there
it.
could
But
be long-term effects from using hard drugs.
yeah, it could have been. It could have been some kind of
Yeah.
something
Heart
with his
condition.
nervous system or a heart condition or something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't want to assume anything, but do you think there's a chance he could have had a relapse and
Well,
OD'd?
that's the thing. I do wonder. I do wonder. There was one time when I actually had to save this guy from suicide. I was so scared. Like it was terrifying. I really
It's
think
great that you were there.
yeah, it was absolutely horrifying. I think that God like had to help me through that cuz I wouldn't have it was almost like I wasn't even talking to him. It was like God just completely taking control because I wouldn't have known what to do. I was just like, bruh. All I could say was like, oh, bruh, no, whatever. But like, and the really sad part is like, because of classes, I wasn't able to go to his.
Did the camera just shut off?
I do think one of them just shut off, and I hate to cut you off, Joseph, during the middle of that very emotional story of yours, but we might have. I can still see that the other one's on, so go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So
the
like,
one on
finish your
us
story.
just
he
cut
was
off.
all
was-
like, yeah, somehow. I mean, I think it was really like, I mean, that was a very supernatural circumstance. But what I was saying about landscaping is, I could totally, if I was like starting a landscape company with somebody who was like my friend and who was a Christian, like I could totally do that. I could totally do like grunt work, and also considering I have a marketing degree, I could be the marketing guy for that too. So it would be cool. And I mean, honestly, kind of running our own kind of Christian capitalist business, I would find that'd be very fulfilling, as it were.
That would definitely be a worthwhile business.
Should we keep on going if the camera
So
is done?
I think it would. I think considering we're so early in our career, nobody would begrudge us if one of us got up to check the camera.
This camera is out.
Well, yeah, we know that one's off. The other one I can see is still on, Joseph, so there's no need to mess with it. Unless y'all just want to call it here. I just wanted to say about that story you shared real quick. I mean, like you said, if they didn't find anything in his system, there's no reason to assume that he would have relapsed. That would just...
Yeah.
It's
that's
okay.
an unreasonable assumption that would just be a besmirch of his character from what you remember.
You want me to? So, this camera's the one that's on, right? You want me? Let's turn it so that it catches all of us.
I mean, we
Come
could.
on, this is our second episode. Nobody's gonna mind us doing all this stuff. It's
And
okay.
I can cut this part out.
It's okay.
No. This part of him moving it around.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just the transition.
Just the transition.
All right, y'all. Smile.
Can you
Hey!
Can you get all three of us in?
If I move it far back, yeah.
You,
Which...
you might have to move something. Oh,
Whoa!
timber.
Yeah, we probably actually should cut this part out, but it's funny.
No, leave it in. The Rube Goldberg machine of camera equipment.
Yeah,
falling apart
yeah.
is
Here's
there.
the thing. I
Slowly.
feel like
For the viewer.
you're trying to go for
Joseph,
polish.
You need to move a little bit. Why don't you move to the center of the couch so
Yeah.
it's easier for us to all be in there?
Can
I have no clue.
Is that as far as it'll go?
wait? Is there anything on that? Can you like move the whole table around a bit maybe?
Is that would be the best way to get all of us?
You want to help him with the table, Josh?
It's okay. We good. So yeah,
If that
like
one's died, who knows how much time we have left in the other one?
yeah, it's okay.
Hold on to the camera.
Bruh,
One thing I noticed, I think why it went out was when we were doing it was at two
just
bars.
stick it on the ground. Stop.
Oh, I didn't realize it wasn't folded.
Yeah,
Should've told me.
but I can't see. I don't know.
All right.
Okay, So
There we
yeah,
go. That's
you're
good.
going for polish, but
long
I
as-
think that
Do you got you in it?
it's really the conversation that makes this. It's not like the effects or the visuals or
Yeah.
anything.
Oh no, wait. Power is less than 30%. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, but I mean, if we've had video thus far, it'd be weird for the video to cut out like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, I get it.
And
All right, so
there
we're
we go.
we're less than 30%, so you should probably sit down, and
Can you,
I guess we should wrap this up.
I'm gonna move this a little more so you can scoot in towards Caleb, and then just adjust that as you see fit. And then, yeah, we should be able to finish out the rest of this episode. I've walked in
And-
front of the camera 3 times now.
Oh! I spilled. All right, this is an absolute fiasco. Let's just
When
cancel
we
this.
cut that on, the camera will be different, and Joseph will be wet.
I heard that so much.
Okay, here you go. There you go. The towels are not in the shots.
This is an absolute fiasco.
All
Let's
right,
not
Josh.
delete any of this. This is humorous.
Josh,
People
sit
will,
down
will
and
enjoy it.
So I was just gonna say,
We had some camera difficulties.
I know what you mean about. Oh man, talking your friend out of suicide is a very serious thing. And it's,
Yeah.
You know.
There was like 3 bajillion other things that I was going to talk about based on all the things you mentioned, but we have so little camera time. I don't think there's really anything else I can talk about.
I have a tendency to just kind of go on. So if you need to feel the need to interrupt me.
Okay, because like I've been trying to interrupt. I mean, trying not to interrupt because I don't want to be the bad guy here.
There's nothing bad about it.
Because like my family treats me like I'm interrupting when I'm just talking normally, and it's just like, bruh, come on, dude.
Well, I understand it's a little different, and I can't say.
And my
exactly
family
what it
are
is.
great, but guys, just let me
delightful.
talk.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There wasn't much else that I was going to say about that, except it's definitely by the grace of God that you talked your friend out of it, and then he went on to become a Christian. So that's a testimony to.
Oh
the Lord's
yeah.
grace.
So I mean, he was already a Christian when I talked him out of it. He was just in a very dark period of depression.
Rough
you know?
time of life, yeah.
Man.
Just understand.
Okay. So yeah, there were so many other things that I wanted to bring up. What's our sound
if
like?
it comes back around, then bring it up.
This thing's at 1 bar now, too.
How many?
What's
minutes do we have?
our time?
We're at 48 minutes,
Oh, that's
47 minutes.
This is a fairly short podcast,
I was
man,
gonna
dude.
say just a few more things I wanted to bring up. One is that if and when we do have other people on the podcast, it's going to look a little different. As much as I enjoy our conversation
Yes.
now, it's just going to be like you said, Caleb, like about them for the most part.
It's gonna be mainly them. I want them to be talking the most, and us asking questions. So basically, here's the thing, right? Like these kind of podcasts, where it's just the 3 of us, discussion, moving around. That's what we want, right? But when it's like, let's say if we have Enrique on, right? If you're leading let's say you have made of the questions. Me and Joseph can chip in questions, right?
Yeah.
But we might not get as much, as I should say, camera time. Whatever, as much as we have right now, and that's just that's okay. I'm mainly I'll be listening and enjoying that, and vice versa. If he's leading podcast or am I leading podcast, just like that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, we all have some good resolutions that we got going for us.
That's what I was going to.
Yeah, I only mentioned one of mine. I got like 3.
He never stated it.
I didn't. No.
We never got to. We just.
Well, we got to do this before the
circle around
camera
to all
burns
that.
out.
If we have any time left, I was gonna say one thing at the very least is that I'm gonna read more books. I've got like 3 or 4 books that I have right now on the list, excluding the one that we have for our book reading that we've got going on with the Other Minute Church.
Notification soon, baby. Very good book. Very
John
painful
Owen.
book.
It should be very what's the word? It should be a good exhortation. It should be very encouraging and yeah. But yeah, so on top of that, I've got other books I want to read. So that's one of mine. Spend more time just reading and in the Word mostly. So as much as my reading will increase in other books.
That's good.
Definitely in Scripture as well. Before you shut it off, is there any closing comments you want to make, Joseph, or anything?
Of course. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave
always.
a comment.
Yeah.
The algorithm wills it. The Dagger demands it. Good night, folks.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for...